The stadium lights were a kaleidoscope of anticipation, each beam cutting through the smoke-filled air, illuminating the fervent faces of thousands. This wasn't just another night. It was a pay-per-view event, a spectacle of carefully choreographed drama and athletic prowess. The roar of the crowd was a living entity, a tidal wave of excitement that pulsed through the arena, vibrating in your very bones. Then, a subtle shift occurred. A hush, almost imperceptible at first, began to spread from the entrance ramp, rippling outwards like a stone dropped into a still pond. The vibrant music that usually heralded a superstar's arrival was conspicuously absent. There was no explosive pyro, no dazzling light show, just the rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound of footsteps. Each step echoed, amplified by the sudden, uncanny quiet. It was a sound that forced attention, a stark contrast to the usual fanfare. People craned their necks, murmuring questions, a collective sense of confusion replacing the earlier euphoria. Who was this? Why the silence? The cameras, usually focused on the main event, seemed equally baffled, slowly panning towards the unassuming figure now emerging into the harsh glare of the stage lights. It was an entrance designed not for celebration, but for something far more profound. As the figure continued her measured walk down the ramp, the murmurs in the crowd began to coalesce, turning into a collective gasp of disbelief. She wasn't a familiar face, not a celebrated champion, nor a rising star. Her attire was simple, devoid of the usual wrestling theatrics, a stark, almost austere presence in a world of flamboyant personalities. The air grew thick with a palpable tension, a question hanging unspoken amongst the thousands. Then, from somewhere deep within the lower sections, a single whisper, barely audible, yet somehow amplified by the profound silence, cut through the tension. "That's Steven Seagal's daughter." The words once uttered spread like wildfire, igniting a fresh wave of shock and awe. The arena, which had merely been quiet moments before, now descended into an almost sacred hush. Every eye was fixed, every breath held. The cameras, as if guided by an invisible hand, zoomed in, capturing the intensity in her eyes. They were cold, focused, reflecting a fierce determination that seemed to pierce through the lens itself, locking onto the ring with an unwavering gaze. No one laughed, no one cheered, they just froze. Because what happened next would change WWE forever. A moment etched into the annals of sports entertainment, not by a grand gesture, but by the sheer, unadulterated weight of an unexpected presence. The ring, usually a stage for boisterous theatrics and pre-match taunts, became an altar of silent judgment as she stepped through the ropes. Her movements were fluid, deliberate, a testament to a different kind of discipline than what was typically displayed in the squared circle. The opposing wrestler, a seasoned veteran known for her audacious persona, stood across from her, a bewildered expression slowly replacing her usual bravado. This was uncharted territory. The script had been thrown out, the narrative shattered by an unforeseen intrusion. The referee, usually the stoic enforcer of rules, seemed hesitant, glancing between the two women and then towards the bewildered officials at ringside. The air crackled with an unspoken challenge, a tension far more potent than any pre-planned rivalry. The crowd, still suspended in their stunned silence, hung on every subtle shift in posture, every minute change in expression. This wasn't about wins or losses anymore. It was about legacy, about the shadow of a legendary name suddenly cast over a world that operated by its own established rules. The weight of expectation was a tangible force, pressing down on everyone, particularly on the woman who had dared to disrupt the carefully constructed reality of the WWE. Her presence alone had redefined the narrative, transforming a routine match into an event of profound, unexpected significance, leaving everyone wondering what unspoken power she carried into this hallowed ground. Backstage, the usual cacophony of hurried footsteps, booming voices, and clanking weights had been replaced by a tense, almost suffocating quiet. Superstars, producers, and crew members gathered around monitors, their faces a mixture of disbelief and apprehension. The sudden, unscripted appearance had sent shockwaves through the tightly controlled environment. Whispers, hushed and urgent, bounced off cinder-block walls. Who authorized this? Is this even allowed? The questions were rhetorical, laden with the anxiety of a system momentarily thrown into disarray. Veteran wrestlers, usually unflappable, exchanged uneasy glances. The unspoken code of the locker room, the strict hierarchy of experience and fame, felt suddenly vulnerable. This was not a challenge from within, but an external force, an echo of a different kind of power and influence. The legacy pressure was immense, not just on her, but on the entire organization. How would they respond? How would this affect their carefully cultivated image? The phone lines were undoubtedly buzzing, media outlets already scrambling to confirm the impossible. This wasn't just a moment for the fans, it was a seismic event for the industry, a testament to the unpredictable nature of celebrity and the enduring power of a famous surname. The emotional aftermath was already unfolding, a cascade of consequences stemming from a single silent walk to the ring. Before the event even concluded, the internet had erupted. Social media platforms became a maelstrom of speculation, memes, and impassioned debates. Clips of her silent entrance, the stunned faces in the crowd, and her unyielding gaze were dissected frame by frame, shared millions of times over. Steven Seagal's daughter became a trending topic worldwide, eclipsing every other sporting event, political development, or celebrity scandal of the day. News outlets, initially caught off guard, scrambled to catch up, churning out articles and breaking news alerts faster than the WWE could issue a statement. The story transcended the usual wrestling fan base, captivating a global audience fascinated by the confluence of martial arts mystique and professional wrestling spectacle. Pundits debated the implications, discussing everything from nepo babies infiltrating new industries to the potential for a new era of crossover appeal. The emotional hooks were everywhere: curiosity about her true intentions, awe at her composure, and a touch of outrage from purists who felt the sanctity of the sport had been breached. The sheer virality of the moment was unprecedented, a digital wildfire consuming every corner of the internet, leaving no doubt that this was more than just a passing curiosity. It was a cultural phenomenon, forever altering the perception of professional wrestling and the power of an unscripted, unexpected moment. Amidst the media frenzy, a plethora of questions hung in the air, unanswered and fueling further speculation. What was her name? Why was she here? Was this a one-time publicity stunt, or the beginning of a new chapter for both her and the WWE? Her silence, both in the ring and in the immediate aftermath, only intensified the mystery. The lack of an official statement from the WWE added another layer of intrigue, suggesting either a deliberate withholding of information or perhaps even a genuine state of internal disarray. Talk shows dedicated segments to analyzing her every move. Body language experts weighed in on her stoic demeanor, and fan theories ranged from secret martial arts training to a bold artistic statement against commercialism. The emotional immersion for the audience deepened with each passing hour, as everyone felt like a detective piecing together clues in a grand, unfolding drama. The pressure on the WWE to provide answers mounted, but for now they remained elusive, allowing the enigma of Steven Seagal's daughter to grow larger than any planned storyline. This was a narrative being written in real time by the collective imagination of millions, a testament to the enduring power of mystery in an age of oversharing. The immediate aftermath within the WWE locker room was a mixture of resentment, awe, and a healthy dose of professional skepticism. On one hand, some veterans felt disrespected, believing that her unearned entrance undermined years of dedication and sacrifice. Whispers of special treatment and riding on coattails circulated, creating a palpable tension between those who had climbed the ranks through grueling tours and relentless effort, and the sudden, uninvited presence of an outsider. On the other hand, a contingent of younger talent and those with an eye for the broader entertainment landscape saw the immense opportunity. The sheer publicity generated by her appearance was undeniable, a spotlight shining on the entire industry. They understood the power of a viral moment, recognizing that this unexpected disruption could ultimately elevate the WWE's profile to unprecedented heights. The emotional divide was stark, reflecting differing philosophies on the purity of sport versus the demands of entertainment. This wasn't just about one individual anymore. It was about the soul of professional wrestling itself. The conflict was unseen by the public, but it simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over as the implications of her presence continued to unfold, reshaping allegiances and challenging long-held beliefs about what it meant to be a WWE superstar. The silence from the Seagal family was as deafening as her entrance. Steven Seagal himself remained conspicuously quiet, neither confirming nor denying his daughter's intentions. This lack of comment only served to intensify the public's curiosity and further fuel the narrative of a rebellious offspring carving her own path, perhaps even against her father's wishes. Media outlets hounded family representatives, close friends, and former associates, desperate for any insight into the mysterious motivations behind her actions. Was this an act of defiance? A strategic career move orchestrated by a powerful, unseen hand? Or a genuine, deeply personal pursuit of an unexpected passion? The emotional weight on the family must have been immense, thrust into an unsolicited spotlight, their private lives suddenly a subject of global fascination. The pressure to speak, to offer some explanation, was surely overwhelming, yet they held their ground, maintaining an intriguing silence that only added to the enigma. This strategic, or perhaps genuine quietude became an integral part of the story, transforming what could have been a simple news item into a compelling, slow-burn drama centered around legacy, identity, and the intricate, often fraught relationship between famous parents and their children. In the weeks and months that followed, something truly unexpected happened. Nothing. Or rather, the expected fireworks and dramatic follow-ups never materialized. She made no public statements, gave no interviews, and did not return to the WWE ring. The viral explosion, the media frenzy, the locker room conflicts, all seemed to dissipate into a strange kind of collective apathy, leaving a lingering, almost eerie silence in their wake. The WWE, after an initial period of confusion, quietly moved on, refocusing on their established storylines and stars. The public's insatiable curiosity eventually waned, replaced by the next trending topic. This lack of a resolution, this abrupt cessation of the unfolding drama was perhaps the most profound twist of all. It left a void, a lingering question mark in the minds of those who had witnessed the moment. Was it all just a fleeting spectacle, a brilliant but ultimately meaningless flash in the pan? Or was there a deeper message, a quiet defiance in her non-participation, a statement made not by action, but by inaction? The emotional resonance of this lingering mystery was undeniable, a subtle subversion of the high-octane, always-on nature of modern entertainment. The true impact of her silent walk into the ring wasn't in any wrestling match she might have fought, or any championship she might have won. It was in the pause, in the collective breath held by thousands, in the way she forced an entire arena, and indeed a global audience, to simply freeze. Her appearance wasn't about athletic prowess or scripted drama. It was a profound commentary on the nature of fame, legacy, and expectation. She walked in not as a wrestler, but as an enigma, a mirror reflecting back the audience's own assumptions and projections. The emotional weight of the moment lay in its disruption, its subversion of the expected. It challenged the very definition of what it meant to be a superstar, suggesting that true power could lie not in the loudest roar, but in the quietest entrance. Years later, when fans reminisce about pivotal WWE moments, her name will still surface, not for a move she executed, but for the profound silence she commanded. It was a viral moment, yes, but one that left a deeper, more philosophical imprint, a reminder that sometimes the most memorable statements are made without a single word, altering perceptions not with a bang, but with an echoing hush that forever changed how we viewed the spectacle of professional wrestling.